Now, moving on to another very serious issue that a lot of people have been talking about here for a while. When it comes to Las Vegas Metro Police and these use of force incidents, there's been a lot of concerns. Are Metro Police too trigger happy? Do you think Metro Police has done enough to assuage these concerns from the community, and what else do you think can be done in terms of rebuilding Metro's relationship with Southern Nevada communities?
I've actually been watching that go on now. I think Metro's done a very good job just rebuilding those relationships. You and I will never know what it's like to put that badge on and walk out that door and then have to deal with the worst of our society. We don't have to do that. But there are men and women willing to do so, and it's important that we support those men and women. There are going to be some bad apples out there that maybe I stayed up too long. Maybe I didn't get the rest I needed. I mean, who knows what's going to make one of these incidents occur? But I will tell you this. Every local government and the state government should be behind the men and women who wear those badges because they are protecting our families. They are the ones putting their lives on the line. So I'll never be able to speak to that in regards to are they too trigger happy. You're going to get those guys and gals. That's just the way it is in any business or industry. And that's unfortunate. But I think our department, with its leadership, is attempting to do everything possible to, number one, keep our citizens safe, keep our 42 million visitors safe with very limited resources.
Yeah.
You do realize that the people voted to hire more cops. The More Cops Initiative in Clark County passed a small portion of that, and that was wrong. We should have more police officers in every department in this state because of what the people voted for, not for what Clark County made its own independent decision to do. That should have fully been funded 100%.
Now, speaking of that, on the flip side, I've certainly heard a lot from folks as of late about what some are describing as this new crime wave. This uptick in violent crimes here in Southern Nevada. What can we do about it?
Actually, I work very closely with Captain Rich Fletcher of the Northwest Area Command and all the COPs and out here, the police officers. I always have been. And we've got great relationships with our marshals as well and with regards to what they're doing. We're seeing an influx, I think, from what I've been told, of violent criminals and felons from Southern California. Apparently, California has a law in the books that you cannot associate with a felon if you are a felon. We don't have that here in Nevada, and I think the legislature needs to take a hard look at that to give our police departments and police officers the better tools that they need to combat crime. You're never going to be able to control someone's choice. You can't. Once we learn how to legislate behavior, it's going to be a much nicer place.
Yeah. Well, we can't legislate behavior, but we can legislate whether and how much access these people have to weapons.
Yes.
Particularly guns. Now there is a ballot initiative that will be on general election ballot, question 1. How do you feel about the Safe Nevada Background Checks initiative, and what else do you think we need to do in terms of addressing gun violence?
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up too, because it's not only just gun violence amongst regular people, but I'm concerned about veterans who are dealing with PTSD issues, getting their hands on firearms that maybe they shouldn't. I think we're at a point in society today where those background checks are necessary and needed. And that's coming from a gun owner and an avid shooter. But if you're a legitimate gun owner and you want to buy a gun for the right reasons, I think you shouldn't be afraid of having your background checked into. It's too difficult in today's society. I know the other position as well, that no, we don't want anyone. It's a Second Amendment right. I'm not going to disagree with the right to bear arms, but I think as a community we can do better on protecting our citizens from those who shouldn't be owning guns. Period.
Now. Certainly now have to deal with this in terms of our public image as Las Vegas, Southern Nevada. And we're still dealing with another incident that's finally made its way into federal court with the Bundys. And what transpired in Bunkerville. Do you think the feds have finally gotten it right here? And going forward, what kind of relationship do you think the county and the state should pursue with the federal government in terms of managing our public lands?
Well, I maybe have gone already that direction. I've got a fairly good relationship with Neil Corrigan with the BLM. He used to work at Senator Reed's office. So I've got a good relationship with him. I've always worked closely with the BLM, and now I get to work closely with the National Park Service because of the Tule Springs National Monument. That whole episode that took place was tragic. I mean, a lot of people, shouldn't have been there. They came from around the country to support the Bundys, and that's unfortunate to see what happened. I wasn't in the minutia in regards to the law enforcement efforts and taking the cattle and all that, but it's just like any other federal offense. If you're in trouble with the IRS, they seize your assets, right? That's what the government does. So I already think I'm working with our federal government, and I'm certainly going to carry those relationships over with me when I'm on the county commission as well, because those relationships last, and it's for the betterment of Nevada. It's for the betterment of all Southern Nevada as well.
And what do you think we should do going forward in terms of protecting areas like Gold Butte and perhaps pursuing, I've spoken with folks who say we have a big opportunity ahead with ecotourism.
Yeah. I've always supported ecotourism, and I mentioned the Tule Springs National Monument on purpose because that's huge for us to have a national park, national monument right here in Las Vegas. And people don't realize the abundance of Ice Age fossil beds that are right here in our backyard. Likewise with Gold Butte, until you go there, you touch it, you feel it, you smell it, you see the beauty and grandeur of it. You want to preserve that for time and eternity. You want to preserve that for the generations to come. And I know the outdoorsy folks don't want any more fences built, and I'm not saying we're building fences, but we've got to do more than we're doing today for Gold Butte. I think they're valuable assets, and call it the Boy Scout in me, but I think they should be preserved. And I think it's just like any other natural resource. That the Paiutes mean so much to us here in Southern Nevada, and these are sacred grounds to them, and we need to respect that. I am the only one of 2 city council wards in the city that actually has a sovereign nation right here in my ward, and it'll be the same when I'm the county commissioner. They'll have a sovereign nation, 2 of them actually, the Moapa Paiutes and the Snow Mountain Paiutes in the district, and I think that's significant, and to recognize them for who they are and what's important to them as well.